Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be my spooky TBR, my spooky season reads. Now I did a video for this last year where I basically for a month I read kind of spooky, atmospheric or horror books for a month. It did okay. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but I really enjoyed it. I like a seasonal read every now and again, so we're going to go over it again. This spooky season I'd like to kick off October with The Last Town. Now I added this also to my September TBR because I wasn't completely sure if I'd get time, but I've added a couple of extra books into September that's pushed this back towards October, where it kind of started anyway. The Last Town is book 3 in the Pines or the Wayward Pines trilogy by Blake Crouch. It is a kind of a horror thriller chiller series, one that I've enjoyed the first 2 installments greatly, so I'm really looking forward to getting back to some Blake Crouch. Check out The Last Town if you haven't already. Next up, some classic horror, the Dunwich Horror. This is by H.P. Lovecraft. This is part of the Cthulhu mythos. I did Call of Cthulhu last October, and Dunwich Horror is next up. I'm going to do one of these every October. I really want to get through all of the Cthulhu mythos story by story, starting with the real big hitters. So Dunwich Horror is up next in October. After that, it's Roger's Cheap Old Book Club and Ghost Stories of an Antiquary by M.R. James. So this actually has a couple of extra, this is basically a short story collection. So in fact, if we just flick through a little bit, you'll see that the first kind of 160 pages makes up the bulk of the Ghost Story of Antiquary, and then after there are some additional stories to kind of flesh out a little bit for the publisher. This is a well-worn Penguin Classics edition, but you know what? In fact, it's not. It's just standard Penguin edition. I don't know why I said Penguin Classics, but yeah, I was really happy to get this. I like the Penguin copies, and that should be some spooky reads. Next up is one I've been waiting all year to get to. October just couldn't come quick enough. I've never read Dracula. I know that is terrible. I have this hardback here that I really love the look of. It is an absolutely obscure size for a hardback. It doesn't fit on any of my shelves properly, but it is good looking, and I'm really interested to read Dracula. Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited. I can't explain how excited. It's probably in my top 3 reads for this year. Next up is a book I got for my birthday last year. This is Hex. And this is part of a series. I don't know what the series is called, but it's by Thomas Olde Huvley. Is that right? Is that how you say that? I'm so sorry if I pronounce that wrong. But yeah, it's got an interesting concept. It's a Hodder release from, and it's got a blurb up there by Stephen King. Yeah, it was bought for my birthday, so it'd be rude not to read it, right? And it certainly fits with the horror theme for the month. Now, getting through all of those, I'm gonna kind of sign off my October with a 6th book. Not really a horror book, but it's Stephen King, so surely it fits, right? It is the first book in Dark Tower proper. I am on a 26 book Dark Tower extended reading list. This is the 3rd book. Salem's Lot, The Stand, now The Gunslinger. The Gunslinger, the 1st book in the Dark Tower. So not a very long book, shouldn't be a problem to slip that in at the end of October and really kickstart the Dark Tower read through properly. I believe after this is the drawing of the 3, but then we bounce out again to pick up some more backstory before we jump into Wastelands. So it's going to be a really interesting Dark Tower playlist when it's finished, which is obviously going to be a few years down the line, but I can't wait to kind of absorb the universe that King has created with this. Are you doing any spooky season reads? That is a good question. Who else is jumping on the bandwagon? Who likes seasonal reading and who likes horror especially? Let's chat about it.